Hello, my name is Jason Ankin and this is my vlog channel. I'm out here at Oxford Island, as always breaking the rules, trespassing, but this gets me out of the way of all of the people. It's a sort of mild day out and quite cool, a little bit of showers going on and off, but I decided to come out here because I felt that it was sort of appropriate for this vlog in particular. So I'm going to give this a little, just a quick overview or let you in on something I've been sort of doing over the last couple of years of my life. It's to talk about a philosophical system called Taoism. Now some people may call this a religion, others will call it a philosophy. I prefer the idea of it being a philosophy because I'm not a religious individual. But yeah, basically Taoism is a Chinese philosophy and it was created by this old wise man called Lao Tzu about 2600 years ago. So it's been around for a bit, and basically I've been studying it for a number of years. I've been actually reading into sort of Taoism and sort of dabbling with various practices over the last maybe three and a half years. And it all started off with, the first things that I started to study was this thing called Qigong. And Qigong is basically like a Taoist form of exercise. And the reason why I got into this, because I remember watching this documentary and it was about this Buddhist, it's basically these scientists following this Buddhist monk, and he did one of his performances in which he broke like steel things over his head, like steel rods over his head. And he was able to do this because of his ability to get his body in a really high state of arousal. He was able to adrenalize himself. And how he was able to actually do this was through the practice of Qigong. And I was really impressed with this method of training, this method of exercise. I was like, I have to figure out what that stuff is about, basically. So I started to study some of the basic exercises, and it's sort of like movement exercises with breathing that just sort of improves the health and function of your body. But this guy was like a serious hardcore monk, and I'm nowhere near that level, and I don't intend to get anywhere near that level. But that then led me to studying a few books on Qigong. And then eventually I became more and more interested in the philosophy behind Qigong, which was Taoism. I think I was reading this book called, was it The Art of Science in Qigong? And it kept mentioning the book The Tao Te Ching over and over again. So I decided to get the book The Tao Te Ching. Now this is the main philosophical book within Taoism. Like I said, it was written 2600 years ago by this ancient sage called Lao Tzu. And so yeah, I was reading, when I first started reading this book, I committed to reading it. I actually committed to reading it every single day for a number of years. I read it for about 3 years straight, every single day. And I don't read it as frequently now because I'm letting it just sink in now. But one thing that I've started to recently think is that I actually want to start taking this system more seriously. I want to actually start adhering myself to the actual principles and practices on a more committed, more disciplined, long-term sort of thing. And basically that's what this video is about. It's basically to let people know that's what I'm going to start doing, and obviously I'm going to start doing more videos about Taoism itself. So the things that I'm most interested in with Taoism is specifically the more practical things. So for example, specifically the philosophy. Then there's also the Taoist or practices, and then thirdly there is the moral code. There's also There's also a mythology that goes along with Taoism. These are like the myths of the gods and stuff like that. I'm not as interested in that stuff right now. I probably will get interested probably later in my life. But right now I'm more interested in some of the practical stuff, so specifically the philosophy, the practices, and the moral code. So I'll just give you a little overview of what the philosophy is. There's three main texts that have been translated into English. The Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tzu, the Zhuangzi, written by Zhuangzi, and then the Liezi, written by Liezi. So these are the three main philosophical texts that I'll be studying more in depth. Like I said, I've read the Tao Te Ching every day for like 3 years. So I sort of understand the main principles and main ideas within that book, but they're very hard to adapt and integrate into your life. The Zhuangzi, I've read it about 3/4 of the way through that book. I haven't read it all in its entirety, and the Liezi I have not yet read whatsoever, but I own all 3 books. They're all sitting in my bookshelf at home, so I can read them whenever I want. The practices, these are the main sort of practices that you take on board. You have Taoist meditation. You also have you have Qigong and things like Tai Chi. Probably not going to be doing too much Qigong or Tai Chi at the minute because I'm focusing on running. But I'm doing meditation. I'm focusing more on my own meditation practice. That's something, again, I'll probably do a video on what it is that I exactly do with my meditation. Alongside the meditation and the Qigong, you've got the Taoist diet. So this is basically dietary practices that you practice. So I've got, again, a good textbook in the house on basically Eastern diet. It's very, it's basically Chinese. It's a textbook literally 600 pages thick, so that's something I'm dying to get into and study more about that. What else is there? Yeah, so you've got the meditation, you've got the Qigong, you've got the diet, and yeah, so that's the main sort of practices that you will do as somebody who's practicing sort of like a Taoist sort of way of life or whatever. And then finally you have the moral code. And the moral code, there's 3 parts to the main moral code, and you've got, the first part is the 5 precepts. These are sort of like rules that you use to govern your lifestyle, rules you use to govern certain actions that you do. Then you've got a second set of precepts called the 10 precepts. And then finally you have what's called the 3 treasures. The 3 treasures are basically virtues that you aim to sort of integrate into your lifestyle as a person. So what I'm going to be doing is basically over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to basically start to talk more about this philosophical system, what it actually is, and I'm not going to be giving it as like I don't see myself doing it in an instructional way, like here's how you do it or here's what this means, and it's all going to be geared towards what I think it means or what practices I'm doing, etc. And just really about my experiences with it, as opposed to here's what I think you should do. I'm not trying to be I don't want to be so dictatorial, like people are very sensitive with sort of being told what they should believe and stuff like that. And I have no intention of converting you to Taoism or anything like that. But basically, I'm going to call it there, the video. It's starting to rain right now, so yeah, so look out over the next couple of days. I'm probably going to start putting more videos out about Taoist philosophy, Taoist practices, and the Taoist moral code. It's just something that I want to start talking a little bit more about, because I've been kind of studying this stuff in the dark, so to speak, in the background. And given that I'm from Northern Ireland, which is a Christian country, it's pretty hard to sort of talk to the average person about Taoism. They just don't understand what it is. And my whole intention behind doing these sort of vlogs on Taoism is to help people understand it a little better from my perspective, without you know, giving people a choice to click the video and watch it if they want to. I'm not forcing it down people's throat. So yes, thank you for watching. So look forward to those videos coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to start to just break it down systematically, part by part. My name is Jason Ankin, and this is my vlog channel, and I will see you later, guys. Bye.